Thank you for having me.
Mike's a veteran here. Mike Madera, president of Walter Camp Football Foundation, and Dave Fulcher, you're the president of the Alumni Association.
Yes, I am.
So welcome to the tropical island of West Haven, Connecticut.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back. Yes,
Is it tough coming to West Haven in January?
No, not for us, because we're from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh,
so
God.
we kind of get the weather, and I'm kind of glad to be here because simple fact that born and raised in Los Angeles, where it's 75, 80 degrees, and then Arizona when it's 110, and in Ohio when it's 30. I'm loving the cold weather.
It builds character, Dave.
Yes, it does.
It builds character, Coach.
There's a lot of hair on your chest and your head. I keep cutting it
what
off.
Happened?
Yeah,
what happened?
I know.
Cincinnati, that's what did it.
Yes, it is.
All right, so let's talk about just your. So as the president of the Alumni Association, obviously Walter Camp and the weekend and the volunteers and Mike and all the group that runs it, it means something to you for you to get on a plane and come back.
Well, it does. And, I was an All-American back in 1985. Like I said, out of Arizona State.
Yep.
I remember when I got the phone call to come back to Walter Camp, and then I remembered all the good things that Walter Camp had already been doing for so many years. I said, man, it's an opportunity to come back, and I come back as an alumni.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, it might be about 6 or 7 years now, that I became the alumni president after Hugh Green.
Oh, boy.
And I don't want to leave now. I think it's a great opportunity for every college player in the country to be a part of, and I always call it a family.
Yeah.
This isn't just an All-American team.
That's right.
This is a family.
It's unique in the industry, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is beautiful that the people like Mike and guys in the past who have and the sponsors and the people who know about Walter Camp and what they put on. If I was in college again, I'd be playing so hard just to be another Walter Camp All-American.
What was your thoughts when you came up here that first time from Arizona, and what was your first impression of New Haven and the whole weekend?
Well, hopefully I know I got a little bit of time, but my first...
we got as much time as we want.
My first impression when I came here is I didn't believe that it was as cold as it was.
Right.
Because I came off that plane with a pair of flip-flops and some Zuba pants, the old MC
Oh, yeah.
and a T-shirt.
Oh.
So I was freezing. Tom Lolly picked me up at the airport, and I knew something was wrong.
It all comes back to Tom Lolly. When Tom picked you up, you knew
I knew something was wrong when they opened up that airplane door, and I felt that coldness coming down on the bottom of the floor.
Yeah.
But once I stepped off that plane, I knew I was in for something, and didn't know how big this was. And it was probably the best trip that I ever had, and I'm gonna continue to keep coming back.
I think that weekend, if I remember, that whole team. I think I was a senior in high school that year, and I think Jack Del Rio.
Jack Del Rio was on that team. Yes, we were. That was a good team too.
Yeah,
man.
that was a good team.
A lot of name players, big name players. Bo Jackson was on that team.
Bo was on the team. Yeah.
David Williams.
Yeah.
I think Tim McGee. I think there was a lot of guys on. I don't know. It wasn't Tim, but I know David Williams was. But we were. I tell you what, that '85 team was something special because it was a lot of good players. Yeah. Larry Station from I think Larry went to Iowa. There was a lot of good football players on that team.
Yeah, it was a linebacker from Oklahoma.
Bosworth.
Boz was on that team, wasn't he?
No, I think Boz was a couple of years after me.
A couple of years after?
Yeah, I'm 54, so I think Boz is 50 early.
Boz is making 51. A comeback. He was all over.
I saw him on a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
I said,
what happened to Larry? I want a Larry back. Larry Culpepper, right?
I'm like, look at this guy. Is that Boz?
Yeah, he looked pretty.
Officer.
He looked pretty good though.
He did. He looked really good.
He looked pretty good. Yeah. So Arizona State. So you had who recruited you? Darryl Rogers or John? Was it John?
No, Darryl was my head coach.
Yeah.
I had the person who recruited me was Willie Shaw.
Willie Shaw.
David Shaw at Stanford. His dad was my defensive back coach. He recruited me, but I went down there as a wide receiver.
Did you?
I didn't want to play DB until when I got there. That was the only school that wanted me to play wide out until I signed that letter of intent and went into training camp. And they said, we don't want you catching balls. We want you to hit people to knock balls away from them. I said, I don't want to do that. But it's probably the best move I ever made because obviously it gave me an opportunity to play in the league for 8 years.
For a long time.
Yeah.
So let's go back to LA.
Yes.
Let's talk about your journey from there. grew up with Daryl Strawberry.
Eric Davis.
Eric
we all went
Davis.
to high school together. Yes.
We've been accused of doing any fact checking on the show, and then we did some fact checking because of because of Clay here.
And I'll tell you, growing up in LA, and I tell people the story of Los Angeles is Los Angeles. It is for real.
Yeah.
My dad was a police officer for 25 years in LA, so I wasn't afraid of the streets, but I was afraid of my dad.
Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
And a lot of people, when you're living in LA, there's a lot of. I'm not saying LA is a bad place, but there's a lot of negativity going on in the streets of Los Angeles. And when my dad told me to get in the house, when the street lights came on, or when it got dark, when they start blinking at 5:55, oh, game's over, man. I got to go home. Oh man, you're soft. You're a mama's boy. And I'm thinking, well, you know what? I want to live, because LA just brought out too many negative things for me as a young man. I was mistakenly shot at. Guy was following me home. I had on a red warm-up basketball sweatsuit after a basketball game. He thought I was a gang member from another gang of blood.
Right.
And he walked up on my porch and shot up my house.
Wow.
And it was my friend around the corner from me.
Wow. And
the only reason why I knew he did it is because he started telling everybody that he shot up some dude going at David's house, not knowing it was me that he was shooting at.
Wow.
So I was fortunate to walk out of Los Angeles, because at a time in my life as a kid, all I thought about was when is my day going to be over, because of the violence and the stuff that we were living around. Yeah. But I had two good parents. My mom stayed home. She was a stay-home mom. And my dad went to work every day. And he woke up in the morning to go protect and serve the community. And he wanted to get home quick and fast to be with his family. So, and it kind of instilled in me, because, I've been married for 24 years to my lovely wife, Judy. And I have a son, David, who's he's in the Air Force. Yeah. Just got home Christmas for his first stint in Korea. And now he's stationed in Pensacola, Florida, with my granddaughter and his wife. Be expecting another one. They just had one, and now another one's coming. And told him, I said, man, you got to slow your roll, man. Take your time.
You're gonna have to move down there now, right?
Yeah. So we love it, man. Yeah. We love what we do, and like I said, LA was a stepping stone for me. It started something that has put me where I am today.
Right. Did your dad coach you in high school or in Pop Warner? No,
my dad coached. He coached us, and I'll tell you, it's funny, man. Yeah. My dad coached me as a tennis player. My dad was.
That is hilarious.
I know. Me playing tennis. Oh wow! My dad was our tennis coach. He was the president of the park that we grew up in, and tennis wasn't my game, you know. But being an athlete, he kind of helped us hand-eye coordination with the tennis racket. Yeah. There was a lot of things. I played baseball. My dad was a baseball coach. We played baseball with him. That's why Daryl, myself, and Eric Davis, we all played on the same baseball team as kids growing up. Yeah, we didn't.
Wow.
Now, Eric and I went to the same high school. Daryl went to our rival high school.
But you guys grew up, and
we all grew up together, and we blew up, and we were pretty good athletes. You know,
I would think so.
We did a lot of. I mean, when I say pretty good athletes, there were a lot of guys that I grew up in Los Angeles that were probably better athletes than I was. Yeah. But they took a different route, and a lot of them were gang members and drug dealers and whatnot. But Eric, Daryl, and I, we stood away from the negativity and decided that we didn't want to be carried out of Los Angeles. We wanted to walk out, and that's why we were so successful.
You still stay in touch with those guys?
I haven't talked to Daryl in a while, but I still stay in touch with Eric. Eric actually, I think, is the Reds hitting coach or assistant hitting coach. So he comes in and out of town during the off season, and then when the Reds are playing, he's doing a lot of stuff. So I see him every now and then.
Nothing better than the oldest friends are always the best friends.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt at all.
Because there's no small talk.
No.
You get right back to just picking up, making fun of each other where you were. Because you still look at each other like you were kids.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our conversations are, dude, you still suck. Or I remember when we were back in the neighborhood and you was running down first base and you tripped and fell and thought you was the fastest guy. Right. So those things come back up because we're that close to buddies and do what we do.
And those are the G-rated stories.
Oh yeah, those are the ones you really can't tell on the air.
You can't tell.
No, you can't.
All right, so let's fast forward. Let's talk about the NFL a little bit. Hardest receiver that you had to cover.
Oh gosh.
Or the best receiver.
One of the,
because you were right in that time frame when there was.
I didn't have to cover wide receivers a lot, but Jerry Rice is probably one of the toughest guys to cover or be on the field with because he caught everything.
Right.
Our Super Bowl, Super Bowl 23 and 88, Guy had 12 catches against us, 200 yards, and we tried to contain him, but you can't contain a guy like that. You just try to keep him out the end zone. And
Right.
we were fortunate that he only caught one touchdown, but I covered a lot of tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. I was like a hybrid linebacker playing safety.
So you were a strong safety?
Strong safety,
Yeah.
240 pounds playing safety, and that didn't happen.
Wow.
The biggest guy, I believe, after I left the league is Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
Cam is 6'4", 230 pounds, but I was 240, 245, doing the things that Troy Polamalu did in Pittsburgh because of Dick LeBeau and the style of defense that we ran. LeBeau started that in Cincinnati. So I was a tweener in between a linebacker and a safety. So, but then LeBeau utilized the ability that I had, and he would bring me to the line of scrimmage, and defenses would sit up there and start counting and pointing, but they wouldn't count 33. They wouldn't see David, and then it was me in the back, and I was licking my chops when I had to block a back, try to block me. Linemen were pretty tough to get around, but them running backs, get off me. I'm coming to get the
You play
quarterback.
with a pretty good linebacker too, Reggie.
Pray with Reggie Williams, man.
Reggie.
Reggie's a great guy. Man.
Great human being.
Great guy, man. He had some issues with his knee, still going through surgeries and whatnot, but, that guy, from Dartmouth, very, very intelligent guy. Let me tell you, man.
He was the mayor of, Cincinnati?
He was he wasn't the mayor. He was a councilman.
He was a councilman?
He was a councilman in Cincinnati. But I'll tell you something, man.
He got it done.
He did everything.
Yeah.
And what a guy to be around, and the guy that opened his arms up for every player that came into Cincinnati.
Great human being. I met him my days at Disney when he was running the sports complex down there. And we became friends on Facebook, and he just loves posting pictures of that knee.
He does.
Yeah, he
I hate to see it, man.
Right?
He always puts that knee on there, and sometimes he'll show the actual knee, and ooh.
I've never seen anybody have. I mean, he played how many years on that ratty turf?
I think he played
13 years?
12, 13 years. And that turf beat him up, man. And then his knee gets infected, and he had surgery, and things went bad. And it's been tough. But he, and actually, if I'm not mistaken, is it the left leg or the right leg? I'm not sure which knee it is, but obviously it's about, a couple of inches shorter due to the fact that all the surgeries that they've had on his knee, that it was like,
right.
Instead of taking the knee off, it's like it shrunk him a couple of inches. So he's got he created some kind of shoe that gives him about, the length that he missed in the leg. That is part of his shoe. But you could tell that it's not, normal because he has a limp and a different walk, but strong guy. Man.
You guys had an unbelievable team.
We did.
Right?
That Super Bowl team was one of the best well-put football teams that didn't win a Super Bowl champion.
Talk about coaches. Talk about the difference a coach in the NFL can make, right? You see these guys being recycled now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's right or not. I mean, it takes a special guy to coach grown NFL players, right?
Yeah. Some people have asked me about why am I not coaching the NFL? I mean, I would love to, but then I start thinking about, well, now you're talking about coaching a grown man who knows everything, or thinks he knows everything. But rather coach a high school kid who is learning, maybe a college kid. But coaching in the NFL is tough. And, when you got coaches that are, and a lot of these coaches don't make the money that the players are making.
Right.
Coach makes $4 million, $5 million a year, but
except for Gruden.
If his player, Gruden,
except for Gruden.
Yeah, but he's got
to get that money back.
He needs to,
right?
he needs to do some returns.
5 years to get
There's going to be a discount, right?
He need to return some of that money, man, because he didn't earn his money. Love him dearly, but he did not earn his money. But I think what happens is that players today, because of the contracts that they are getting paid. Yeah. It's hard to tell one of those guys what to do. Yeah. Because how you gonna tell me, man? I'm making $10 million a year. Okay, but I'm still your coach. When we were playing, $100,000 was a lot of money. Yeah. Paul Brown used to tell me, hey, David, if you just hit people, I'm gonna pay you. So if I go hit somebody, you gonna pay me more money? Yes. I'll say, but I didn't play the game for the money. I played the game because I love hitting people. So $100,000 was a lot of money for us. But yet you see players playing today who probably wouldn't even be on our level, making $4 or $5 million a year, but that's what the market is, and you can't get mad at them. It's just that maybe you was born a little bit too late, and maybe the football that players are playing today, man, it just gives them an opportunity to be successful if they do what they're supposed to do with their money.
Well, when that pension kicks in for you know.
That's the thing. I'm 54,
right?
so
you'll be down to Pensacola quick.
I'm pretty close, man. I'm pretty close.
Right. Let's talk about your foundation.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the passion that you have and you bring to that.
Well, we started our foundation, probably about 2000. Okay, my wife. I had to get the.
Was it your idea?
Well, it was both of our ideas. I think
Yeah.
I think the thing was that she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. We had no idea what it was. It took us a couple of years to really get the detail of what was going on. And then what we did was that we were out doing a lot of charitable things, speaking engagements, autograph signings, and we had a sports store. We had bringing Carson Palmer and Chad Johnson. Those guys used to come in and sign autographs and raise monies. And we started raising monies to find a cure. And finding a cure was tough for any disease. So we decided, why don't we take our hard work, all the money that we raise, and give that money to the people who are in need of it, that have it. So we decided that we teamed up with the Gift of Hope, which is an organization that everybody that's part of that organization have MS. We then would go out and do grocery shopping or shopping for them, and then take that money that we raise and give it directly to a person who needs it, that person that has it in that household.
Just to help them with their bills.
With the bills and everything.
Because
And
it's devastating.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so tough, because we're fortunate. Now, my wife,
Yeah.
if you look at Judy, a lot of people look at Judy and go, oh, she looks pretty healthy. Well, if you don't know what MS does, she looks healthy. But if you know what MS does, you can understand what she's going through. A lot of tingling and sleeplessness and, migraine headaches and, sleeping 12, 14 hours a day because of what the illness does to her. So we decided that why don't we just take that money, and we look at her and people go, well, why don't you do something for her? Well, we're blessed. The man upstairs has given us so much to be thankful for that we want to help those, because when she was first diagnosed, she had a lot of, she was paralyzed. Some of these people who are have MS now, they go from canes to wheelchairs to not even being able to come out of the house. But we can. So why can't we do things for them? And that's why we do what we do.
That's awesome. Let's talk about what you're doing now. Coaching?
I'm not coaching anymore.
You got out of it.
I got out of the coaching. I think it was time for me to step away. Support from the university. Very small university, Cincinnati Christian University, very small. Started football 3 years ago. And just when you don't know what is needed to run a football team, people who run a business, sometimes you can't run a business like a football team. And even though it says it might be, no, this is football. What football needs is football things. When you don't have a locker room, when you don't have a football field, but you want to recruit a kid to come to your school to play football for you, but when their high school is better than the college, it makes it kind of tough.
You didn't have a chance.
So I didn't have a chance, and I walked away, and I didn't walk away because I didn't like the kids. I just thought it was time to move away from something that I was so passionate for, that I needed other people to help have the same feeling that I had to get this thing going.
And Judy, you said when he came home one night, you said, you're done. That's it. She shut it down.
No,
she shut it down.
I tell you what, she is probably the biggest fan, because I will tell you this. Everything that I did at that university when it came to setting things up, I didn't have a secretary at the school. My wife was my secretary.
You're it, huh?
She made the phone calls to the hotel reservations, the dinners when we were on the road. She set everything up for us. She made all the things that a secretary should be paid for. And that's why I always took my wife with me. She came with every game. She came with us. She come to dinner with us. Everything we did.
You're a team mom?
She was a team mom.
A lot of kids.
Oh, I'm sure.
But it was fun.
That was the one thing that I could tell you about us, is that we mentor. We do a lot of mentoring. All those young men were not just my football players, but they were young men. They were my sons. And one of my players, Vince Hill, mom was really, really sick, and one day he came into my office, and my wife was just happened to be there, and he was hurting, and she told me to leave and she'll talk to him. And I walked out of the room and I left him in there for about 45 minutes. And whatever she gave him, whatever conversation she had with him, he came out of that office at ease and at peace. And because I know the kind of person he is. One thing first, our motto is faith, family, and football. And our faith took over that day. And Judy spoke to him and gave him all the encouragement that he needed, that your mom will be okay. She's in good hands. And fortunate for him that mom beat the cancer, and mom is living and doing what she needs to do, so things are good.
So it was a big impact that you guys had on those kids.
No doubt. And that's why we do what we do. And I think when we start talking about Walter Camp and what's going on there, I do this not for David.
Yeah.
I don't do this for him. I do it for the Connecticut. I do it for the kids in Connecticut. I speak at those rallies for those kids, telling them about things that they need to do. Everything I do is for somebody else, not me.
Good, because I thought you were going to say you do it for Tom Lally. And I'm glad you did.
I thank Tom. I thank Tom for picking me up at the airport.
Right.
After
Flip-flops.
that, we're done. But he took care of me, though. Because when I came in there and I had the flip-flops on, I had those MC Hammer pants. I had 3 more in my bag. Yeah. And a couple of T-shirts. Yeah. And it was cold, and he took me to Starter. Yeah. When Starter was here.
That's right.
And they suited me up, man.
Of course he did.
They suited me up,
Sure.
man.
I'm surprised you weren't sleeping at his house, too.
No, I didn't sleep at his house, but I tell you what, my clothes, I was looking pretty good in Starter outfits, bro. Yes, I was.
All right, so we're going to ask you some standard. Mike, talk about your relationship and what he means to the organization.
Well, he's fantastic, as you can see. I mean, listen, David talked about how he replaced you, Green. I mean, you was with us for a long time, and then when you have to make a switch over from you, and you kind of have to make sure it's the right person. And what I found from David from the start, how genuine he was. And I think if you really sit down and like we are right now talking to David, there's no phoniness, and right. I think that's why he's so easy to get along with, and he's so easy when people come in. He's the perfect person because of the fact that he is so real. And like today, went down there, haven't seen them in a year, and it's like seems like old times. And it's not just David, it's Judy. It's I just think it's that whole family vibe. You know what I mean? That when they come, they're happy to be here. It's not like you're putting them out. It's not like, we got to do this, we got to do that. I mean, that's the honest truth. David will tell you. I texted him and said, "Hey, we got to do an interview. All right, when you need me." Yeah. And that's exactly how it went. We came down and we're here. And I mean, and when you have somebody like of David's stature, and he's played the game, he knows exactly what he's talking about, and then he can talk to these All-Americans. I mean, what else could you ask for? A genuine guy who's going to give great advice to somebody. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah. It is without a doubt. I don't even know if it's a hidden secret people in the football world know about Walter Camp, but it is without a doubt such a unique weekend that no one else does. No one else does. And I think the fact that it's a volunteer base adds something different to it, because no one's trying to get anything out of the players. They just want to make sure that they enjoy New Haven. Right? So I'll segue into this because we are pizza snobs here, David.
It's all good. I don't see the
Pepe's or Sally's. Have you been to either one?
Uh-oh.
Pepe's or Sally's?
I don't think I have.
Not yet.
That's a crime.
I don't think I have, but I think I've had it.
Yeah.
I think I may have had it because I know
they go to one other. The bar.
Yeah, they go to the bar. Yeah. Mashed potato bacon.
Yeah.
Mashed potato bacon.
Oh yeah.
Mashed potato bacon.
Now you're making me hungry, man.
It's a good one. So last question, and we'll wrap this up. So on the show this week, we've been doing Super Bowl predictions.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about what you think this upcoming weekend. So we're going to put you in here. So Monday, we're going to have to call you while you're flying back. But so Colts or Chiefs, what are you thinking on that?
Well, when you start looking at football, and the way football has been going this year, the Chiefs have been playing some dynamite football. Yeah. But the Colts, they're determined. Yeah. They've been playing, a team was started 1-5, I believe. Yeah. And nobody even thought that they would be doing what they were doing. And then you got Andrew Luck, who a year ago didn't play any football at all because of his shoulder. And that's a tough one. I mean, they got to go to Kansas City to beat them. If this was indoors in Indianapolis, I'd probably say the Colts. But I don't think that they're going to beat the Colts up as bad as I think they would be. But I'd have to go with the home team and the Chiefs there. Tough one, man.
Right.
That's a tough one.
Got the Chiefs. Cowboys, Rams.
Wow. The Cowboys have been playing some pretty good football. But the Rams, man.
At home.
The Rams at home, and then Andrew Whitworth, the left tackle there, man, from the Bengals. I just think the Rams are going to do that one.
All right, so I got you down there. All right, let's go to Sunday's games. Chargers, Pats. I should have left that one for last, but because that
you can do that one last.
All right, let's go Eagles, Saints.
Eagles, Saints. Boy, the Eagles. I'm telling you, Nick Foles is the new the new sheriff in town.
We had four people choose. Yeah, you're the only one that choose the Eagles.
No.
Oh, you're not finished?
I'm not finished.
All right, we'll go back.
I don't think the Saints are going to lose at home.
Yeah.
Drew Brees is on a mission.
Yeah.
That Saints team is loaded.
Right.
I'm talking 10 players on offense, 11 on defense. Normally you see one player here, player there, but New Orleans at home, man,
they're a fun team to watch.
and they're quick, they're fast, efficient, well coached.
Yeah.
And that's Walter Camp. If I had to say Walter Camp as a football team, it'd be the New Orleans Saints, because that's
they're a fun team to watch.
That's a good football team.
Yeah.
They came to Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati was kind of beat up, man, but they came down there, man, and they kicked some butt.
All right.
Yeah, I go with the Saints.
So we're all going Saints. All right. So Chargers, Pats.
Man, as much as I don't like New England, and I won't say I don't like them. It's not hating, just that they win so much. If the weather permits San Diego to play in some a little bit warmer than they normally would play in the cold, but I'm going to take San Diego, man. I don't think New England's been playing like the New England Patriots in the past. And one thing I like about Phillip Rivers, just like Drew Brees, catches the football, gets the ball out of his hand really quick, and that keeps the defense from getting too much pressure on him. If New England can't do that, San Diego's going to beat them.
You and I are the only two to pick them. Yeah. I agree. I think the Pats, I think they're losing games that they never lost before. There's a psychological thing that starts playing into that.
You also got a quarterback. I think Tom Brady's 41.
He's got to be
39,
I think
41.
he's 75.
So he's 40 years old. That doesn't mean he can't play. But he might be 75.
I think you were in kindergarten when he started playing.
I think he was playing before I was, and I just don't remember seeing him in that.
Who's in the finals?
Disciplined coach.
So who you got in the finals? Who you got in the Super Bowl?
Man, it's going to be a tough one, because you got New Orleans and the Rams, and they played each other before. That was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Kansas City, New Orleans. That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, man.
Man.
I'm glad people don't have to listen to me and bet, because I don't bet things, man. I just like to watch the game.
If you win it, we'll send you the coffee mug.
Yeah, if they win it, yeah. Now, who's going to win the game?
Yeah.